Welcome to WinSouls TV. This is your host, Jeff Thomas, and today we are going to be talking about how casualness with the Lord leads to casualties. And a prime example of one of those individuals in the Bible is Samson. Now, last video I just talked about Samson, and you know, I was venturing into a few things concerning temptation, right? Dancing with temptation. Well, in this video, I still want to use those same verses, Judges 16:4 through 30, and how does casualness with the Lord really lead to casualties? Samson is a perfect example of that. You know, Samson was way up here. He was blessed. He was anointed. The Lord had brought him all of these specific things concerning his calling, because his calling was to lead, right? And was to put the Philistines in a specific place as the Lord led. Well, with that said, he began to become casual with the very things that the Lord, you know, told him were sacred to him. Like, look, never cut his hair, because if you cut his hair, you know, his strength lies in his hair. Okay. Now, later on, that we realized that the representation of his hair is literally the power of God. So, and that was when he was about to die. But leading up to that point, we see that he began to become casual in terms of dancing around the topic of how he has that power. He already knew how he has that power. He already knew how strong he was. He already knew that the Lord had blessed him with that. But yet and still, what he began to do was he allowed a specific person, a woman, into his life that, you know, based on specific circumstances, she was led to a place to where, you know, she would have to kind of give him up if he told her what those what the source of his strength was. And so instead of letting her go, knowing that she was after the source of his strength, what did he do? He dances around the fact that she's trying to poke and prod the source of his strength. So she's asking, hey, you know, what is the source of your strength? Oh, well, if you really love me, then you'll tell me the source of your strength. Well, any person that puts up any type of ultimatum, or any person that puts up any type of manipulative underlying manipulative, deceitful act, where if you don't tell them, then this will happen, or if you were to tell me this, then that means that you really do this. You have a little bit of thinking to do there, because the Lord has anointed us with very specific acts. All of us have a calling in our life, right? A lot of us never even grasp or understand what that calling is, because we are so used to being conditioned to the ways of the world. And what do I mean by that? You grow up, you go through school, you graduate from college, you accumulate a lot of debt. While you're in that debt, you get married. Then both of y'all come together, you got all of this debt. Then guess what? Then you go and have a baby. You living together. You paying all of these bills. You trying to get out of debt. You struggling, and the cycle just repeats itself over and over and over again. People grow up trying to live this American dream. Well, American dream isn't necessarily God's dream, and because of that, we become casual in our relationship to Him, because our focus is distracted by the specific things characterized in those cycles of life. Cycles of life over and over and over again, and we never stop to see what he actually wants, or what we're supposed to be doing on this earth individually, right? And so anyway, Samson moves on He gets captured, and that was the beginning of his downfall, right? Now, within that, we realize later that the true source of his strength was the Lord, because he called upon the Lord when he was pushing the pillars, and then when he pushed the pillars, he died along with the Philistines. But upon pushing the pillars, he killed more Philistines then than he did in all of his lifespan, right? But being casual in that specific decision to keep Delilah around, knowing that she was poking and prodding for the source of his strength, not out for his betterment, but out for his detriment, then guess what? Created a casualty. It inevitably led to a casualty. Okay? So let's not be casual in our relationship with God. Let's not be in a place where we just go to church and then let that be it. Or we just read the Bible, get filled up with the word, and not do anything with it. You see? Or let's not just become saved and just let that be it, like I was when I first became saved. I got saved when I was 7 years old, but I didn't actually start walking as a Christian until I was 25. And so in between that, I was casual the entire time because I had no model to actually live by. And then also I didn't know that you read the word and you actually do the word. It is the acts of obedience that releases the power of God, characterized by who he says he is and the promises in the word. That's the key. Living out the word. Not just reading it or just going to church to hear it, you know. But you guys be blessed and don't become casual at all. Have a good one.